As I said, I have been living amongst the white people for the past 28 years, and they are the most wonderful, beautiful people compared to the Pakistani community to which I was born into. The Pakistani Muslim community to which I was born into. Not all of them, I'm not saying every single individual, but a majority of them are absolutely disgusting. Disgusting, racist, dishonest people. This is your animal instinct. Yet the British white people are a tolerant people. They got patience. They are civilized.
I've known so many individual people who could be labelled as Muslims. They're some of the nicest people I've known. And I'm not such a bad judge of character. Can't recall ever being wronged by any of the associations I've made in my life with Muslims. Never. People I used to do business with who were Muslim, Pakistani guys in Rochdale, as to where I used to do stuff with computers for him. So it was back in the day when you had 56k modems and the like, and those things could be a bit tricky to install if you were a novice. So I was in a lot of cases around here, the guy who first got people onto the internet. So they always remember that. And at the time it was a matter of problems with the old ADSL modems and the like, and I was able to sort that, and I was able to sort out the 56k modem problems. So it was early days of the internet. So I was a guy who used to get rang up by guys I knew actually through business. They weren't friends of mine, but they were people who got the gist of the fact that I could do a bit around a computer. At the time these days I just don't care, but at the time it was a matter of you had to have a certain level of technical ability to even be on the internet. Not like now, where it's just ding. So I used to go around to the houses of these guys, and when I got there, that's what their kids would call me, Uncle John. As a mark of respect. Now we have it ourselves as to where we call close friends of our parents or neighbours uncle and auntie, and it's sometimes a joke, isn't it? Oh, your auntie, your uncle. And that's how we kind of use that, but they used it as a mark of respect. And I always used to be so impressed with families, those guys, as to how the kids were so gracious and gentle and so keen to learn. And they'd be like, Uncle John, but asking you questions. They wanted to know. Used to like it. And never went round to those guys' houses, never went round and didn't get fed, which was always a feature, is that I get paid for the job, but I'd also get me dinner. On every occasion. And it's like, those guys used to really take the notion of the guest in the home as something serious. You know, that old tradition of you come in, you're our guest, hospitality, we feed you, we look out for you, we make you feel good about yourself. They were good at that. And it was something I've come across many times doing business with like families I've known. Asian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, whatever you want to call them. So I've been generally looked after. Worked for a firm of devout Sunnis in Manchester once. I found myself on my uppers after I left the big firm, and I had certain skills that were worth money. So I went working for a Muslim IT firm out of Manchester. They were proper devout Shias, and everyone in there was a massive Muslim. They were Muslims who turned up for mosque. They had a mosque built into the office, prayer room, and also a little shrine around the back, a little temple that they used to go in, and they used to observe most of the people who went there. And the firm was probably about 30 of Pakistani and some like northern Pakistani, some Afghan descent. And the big bosses of the place used to wear the garb and drive Porsches. They, as employers, by way of sorting me out with money, they're the best employers I've ever had for being fair and being really generous as well. It's like I worked for them for a week and payday came along. And I were expecting a week's money and they gave me a month's money. And just said, new job, obviously costing you some money. Let's just pay you from start of the month, shall we, to get you on your feet. And I'm like, wow, no one's ever done that for me before. I worked for them for a bit, and in the end I stopped working for them. I basically had enough. That was when I retired. I retired me at one stage as an IT guy, and I've never gone back, and that was when I retired. I actually said to them, I says, I want a leave of absence, I want to be off work, and you don't have to pay me, but can I come back? Can I go on sabbatical? Well, how much time do you want? And I'm like, well, I want mine 3 months. What? Yeah, I want 3 months off work. I've been working non-stop in this crazy sales game for years, and I need some time off because I put it to myself, I think I'm losing my mind here. I'm very like depressed, and I had enough. I needed to unpack it all. So much had happened so quickly to me. I needed to stop and I needed to unpack it. They actually allowed me to do that. Said to him, I said, I'll come back. Eventually I didn't go back though. I didn't go back. I became a driver instead. But they were willing to do that. They were totally grateful for all I did for them as well, because I enhanced the firm by then, because I was there. It gave them the ability to get like the authority they needed to sell Microsoft licensing, which was my specialist product anyway. So it's like what I set in motion for them made it possible for them to open up a whole new stream of income. So they were grateful for that. So they didn't give me any bad time when I said to them, well, I've decided I'm going to retire from the world of IT sales. They wished me all the luck in the world. They're like, hey, thanks, you brought a lot of know-how with you at an important time for us, so thanks for helping us develop our business. That was their attitude to me. So I'm like, as strange in their ways as they may have appeared to me, you know, as the outsider looking in, as to where you go working at a place and you get there and it's like, there's only like 4 of us who work here who aren't Pakistanis. Real varied bunch of people, but I liked them all. They were all sound. Everyone who worked there was sound. There wasn't a single person there that was a drama queen or full of shit or anything similar to that. But they were so diverse, but generally so civil. I was treated really well by those people. And we recognised between each other that you guys are all Sunnis and devout, and I'm something of an atheist, but a practical man. Everyone got on well there. It's like there were no trouble there. And when notions came up of the idea of like terrorists and the like, it's like they'd be looking at you and they'd be like, you off your head, in a Manchester accent. I used to have this lady called which called Roanna, who used to sit behind me, and she used to like listen to me all day. Because she didn't have much to do. She just took the odd incoming call and slapped the odd order on. She wasn't expected to earn a lot. She was just someone who took in just orders from the public and stuff. But I was someone who was digging for business to business, so I'm a busier guy. And she used to just sit there listening to me all day. And she'd be just constantly like mothering me. You alright? Yeah. And she'd be alright. She was just dead calm, laid back. Liked to laugh. You couldn't get a rise out of her. She was pretty much untriggerable. Most of them were. The only person there who was a bit crazy was called Kazia. He was called Quasar Kazia. But he was from Aki. He was from Accrington. So he talked like that. So you've got one who's like hyperactive and mouthy. But he's from Accrington, so he sounds hilarious. And he had such a right gentle sense of humour about him, and a big gangly bloke, and full of beans all the time. Gym guy. So he was like a muscle-bound, like outgoing child. He was fun to work with, Kessa. You know, he was such an innocent about him, but a real sense of what was right and wrong. You know, he actually became a copper in Kessa. He got me to help him fill his application forms in at work. He became a copper, and it's like, don't know quite how that would stack up, but he was ever so friendly with people. So it might be a matter of that as to straight up friendly. And so there was another lad who was from Accrington as well, a Pakistani guy who was a good cricketer. And I used to be in a cricketer at the time, so I'm a big fan, play a bit. And he used to sit about as far away in the office as we could be. And it'd be about once every week or so, I'd feel one of them rubber balls just go bouncing off the back of my head. And he bullseyed me from other side of office, like about 20 yards. Hit me with something approaching 50 mile an hour on back of head, but it's only a rubber ball, so it just makes you go, ooh. And he'd be like that. You know, nice lad, dead aggressive in everything he did, but he was always like that. So it's like, oh, he's a cool guy. They were nice people I work with. I haven't got any complaints about anybody who I work with who were at that place. Old guy came on that shift. He must have been about 60. Again, Pakistani guy. We were a gang of rogues. This quiet out fella comes along. And it's like, well, he don't do as much work as we do, but he's very methodical, so he'll fit in, he'll do it. You know, he's not a shirker. He's not going to make us all look better out. But he were very quietly spoken, and we were a boisterous gang, but he used to sit there and he used to listen to us. And we didn't include him because he didn't talk too much, but he was generally nice, and he was always smiling, and we always made him laugh and all that, so he joined in the crack with us. But his English wasn't that great. And he turned up one night, right, with a bag of like chicken pakora his wife had made. There was enough to feed everyone. Dinner or snacks and everything for that entire shift. And you can weigh it up as to say, oh, he's kind of bribed you there, hasn't he? It's like, no, I think in his world, I think that was an act of love. He was showing us that he appreciated us, and that he'd gone home and he'd told the stories, and his wife had made the effort to make us all something to eat because we sounded like we were a decent bunch. Because if you think about it, he were a lad who was, he again, was a very family orientated guy, few kids, has the wife at home. He's having to work nights to bring a wage home, so he comes home and she says, oh, is it going okay at work? And she says, well, they seem like a decent set of lads. And understanding that an act of kindness is like something that could knock us back, because we're not them sort of people. We're not openly generous, loving sort of people who would make everyone their dinner for them and think of it as its own reward. Which is a thing. Nah, we weren't those kind of people. So he turned up and his wife had cooked for us, and it was brilliant, and it was like, hey, good on you. Well, hey, thank you. But this thing we've got, it's since 9/11 this, and I've been around a long time now. Since 9/11 this Muslim thing. Yeah? It's since 9/11. So all these relationships, bar the ones at Microdirect, were all formed before 9/11, when there was no issue that was on our doorstep or a taken centre global stage about the notion of the Islamic extremist. It was always something that was going on in a different fucking country on the other side of the world. It was a war in the distance that none of us really understood and didn't particularly want to be involved in. That's what it was. And then after 9/11 was such a massive deal, it then became something that was on our fucking doorsteps. And the Muslim people I know who live in this country, the real people, the actual people, the ones who, you know, live normal lives, they did not ask for any of it. None of it. They've had it foisted upon them, and they don't like it. And they're fucking sick of it. And those who've been raised steeped in it, oh, it's cruel as fuck. It's not on them. And the people who came before, who were around before, right, shouldn't be on them either. They didn't do it. But the thing is with the old fucking clunky words, Islamic extremism, well, the world's full of Muslims. All of a sudden you got the fucking enemy within. A dickhead I know felt himself the day after 9/11 justified driving alongside a Pakistani guy, and he was bragging about this in pub. That's why I know about it. He might not have done it, he might have dreamt of doing it and then decided to tell everyone he did. It's that kind of place, but the fact he said, it's a fact. He cracks on that he was driving down the road and he saw Pakistani guy in the Muslim sort of garb, drives up alongside him, winds his window down. You fucking cunts doing that. Fucking lot of you. Fuck off. It's like, go back to your own fucking country. Talking about nuking them back into the fucking Stone Age. You fucking cunt. Drives off. May never have happened, that incident of hate. That's a hate crime. Yeah. In 2001, that's fucking well out of order. It's like, that guy never asked for that. Who the fuck are you mouthing off to him about things going on in the wider world that you know nothing about? Fucking cunt. Comes into the pub, mouths off like that. And it's like, things are a little bit amiss here. And I tell you what, you know, the way that the post 9/11 people who don't generally pay attention to every detail of every fucking story, right? They've gone with narrative for years. They've been led to believe that Islamic terrorism is a realistic threat because it was used as a way of beefing up the size of the state by the Labour Party, weren't it? Massively. They didn't have to make a big thing of it going on fucking terror alert. They didn't have to make a big thing of it, but they did, and then they started to propagandise that we had a problem with fucking Islamic extremism in this country. There's always going to be dickheads in the world. And it's like they weaponised all the crackpots from Pakistan. That's what they've done. They've just radicalised the crackpots, and it's a matter of, you're making it so their extremists can say, you people are hated, you people are victims. Convoluted it with the notion of racism, which is always in the world, isn't it? And you'll never get rid of that, as to where people have sort of a misconception of the other. It's why, you know, people's relationships are dreadful. It's like, what do you expect? They can't maintain personal relationships that have got any meaning. How the fuck are they supposed to be able to quantify a group of individuals